Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. What's going on, guys? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Wow. Good afternoon to people in the US. All right, let's do this. Guys, what's going on? Good afternoon to people in the US. This is hashtag TNT Joe5. Tech news that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. I am your host, Jerome Ortega. This is episode something something because I lost count. This is day something something in quarantine because I equally lost count. Sorry, adjusting myself, why am I looking a little dark? Yeah, I'll work with it. I'm looking dark. Whatever. All right. Welcome, guys. What's going on? Also, good morning, good evening to people not in the US, but hi to everyone else around the world. Welcome to TNT Joe5. We have a good amount of news. Not a ton amount of tech news, but a couple of things to talk about. And obviously we have chat as well. So we'll go into chat. We'll talk. We'll have a discussion, see what else is going on, see if there's anything that you guys want to talk about. It is Friday. So happy Friday. Hopefully you guys have plans for the weekend. If there are plans to have for the weekend. Yeah, I don't know. Levin with the $2 super chat. Levin, thank you, man. Thank you for the support. TGIF fund. Thank you. I will keep that fund for my apartment move. But thank you, Levin. Thank you for the support, man. Thank you for the continued support as always. Always dropping some love. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. So let's go ahead and let's say hi to everybody else. Also, hi, Levin. Welcome. Glad you could make the stream. So Sean was first in here. What up, Jerome? What up, Sean? What's going on, man? Glad you could make it. Yeah, and then Levin was also saying, what's up, people? Time to get the stream going. And then Y is in here as well. Hi, what's going on, Y? How are you? Y also says 17 days to go for the Pixel 4a series, hopefully. 17? Wait, why 17? What's 17 days from now? 31, 2, like August 3rd? Is there a reason that you're shooting for an August date for the Pixel 4a? How's that P40 doing? It's great. I love it. I am getting crazy battery life on it. Camera's great. Performance is great. I'm able to get pretty much all my apps. It's pretty good. I still have to get that camera comparison out though, so that will be coming. But I'll let you know. I'll let you know. So oh man, Big House. Big House Productions with the $5 super chat. Boom! I'm here. Welcome, Big House. Hey man, thank you for the support. Thank you for the continued support as well. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I don't know if any of you, well, I'm sure some of you guys know I am actually going to be moving in less than 2 weeks. I still don't have an apartment nailed down, but I assure you I will be moving out in probably less than 2 weeks by August 1st. So thank you for that super chat. That will actually help me with any of the costs for moving. So Big House Productions, welcome, man. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Levin says, yes, drink my beer. There you go. Oh, John Processor said August. He did? I'm already forgetting. You know, with so many rumors for the Pixel 4a, I assumed they were going to announce it sometime in July and have it ready by July, but I haven't seen anything. Okay, so Paul is saying, hi, took a stroll through the park yesterday. Was it nice? We actually had nice weather here in Chicago yesterday, which is great. Quite an entrance. Are you talking about Big House's entrance with the $5 boom? That's what I'm guessing you're talking about. But Paul, welcome to the stream, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Okay, so I don't have a ton of stories, but I have a good amount, and we'll have a discussion, see what's going on. We can talk about other things that, you know, I might not have here anyway. But oh man, Levin with the $5 super chat. Levin, thank you again for another super chat. Oh my god. Congrats on the big move. Thank you. I mean, it's not finalized yet. I'm still working. I actually have for you guys that don't know, my first apartment, they denied me with like zero explanation. They took my $50, which sucks too, because it's non-refundable. They just took it. And then I applied for another apartment. And right now it's like the whole income and whatever thing is fine. And like rental history, they're just checking criminal background, like for whatever, or eviction issues. And I don't have any of those issues. So I should be fine. But I guess you also never know what's going to happen, so I can't say for sure until it does happen. So when it does, I'll let you know. Okay, Levin says, claim it and it will happen. I'm moving. That's going to be my apartment. Is that what you want to say here, Levin? Thank you, Levin. Thank you. Thank you. Paul says, come on, say it. Well, I don't know. I don't know, Paul. We'll see. Team Verizon here. Hey Jerome, what's up? What's up, Team Verizon? How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. We're just getting started, so you just made it. Again, to everybody who just super chatted, guys, thank you already for the support. Not even 10 minutes into the stream, so thank you guys. Thank you so much for that support as always. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about gaming phones. I know that's probably not everybody's topic. People don't own gaming phones, or a lot of people don't own gaming phones. I wonder what percentage of people own gaming phones. I would buy a gaming phone if it depends. It depends. So this article from Android Police says the renders of the Asus ROG Phone 3 land just ahead of next week's announcement. So I don't know when. I'm sure it's going to say here when they're going to announce it, but with the ROG Phone 3 set to be revealed in less than a week, it's not surprising that the pace of leaks is picking up. Our latest look at Asus's upcoming gaming phone came courtesy of 91 Mobiles and noted leaker Ishan Agarwal, showing off renders of the back and sides of the phone. So you'll see here that the back lights up, which I think is pretty cool looking. And I think this is RGB, so this can be whatever color. I don't know if this is RGB here. Is it this like little strip, or is that just like a multicolored, like whatever? I don't know if that gets colored up. Actually, if I can zoom in, Well, there's not. You still can't tell if that's an LED strip or anything. It might not be. These renders a bit nicer than the previous photos that leaked. They corroborate what we saw later from my smartphone. On the back, the triple camera configuration, which is right here, is clearly visible, together with what looks like a glowing Republic of Gamers logo and what we assume is a vent for the phone's presumably active cooling, which I think is pretty cool, having a vent that does that. But I think we've discussed this before. Adding a vent for cooling will now make the phone, you're not able to make it like IP68 water and dust resistant. So you kind of have to take that as it is. If you want a phone that's like super high performing, that actually will cool the phone down as well, most likely you're not going to be able to get dust and water resistance unless they figure something out later in the future. So it's saying here, presumably active cooling, though if history is any indicator, it might not actually do anything. Okay, so one side of the phone looks like it has the same sort of weird dual USB Type-C port the previous ROG Phone 2 sported. Where is that? Oh, it's right here. So you'll see two USB-Cs. Is one painted or one colored orange, and then the other one's just black. The opposite side has the expected power and volume controls, as well as markings that we have to assume indicate the location of the capacitive air triggers. Stereo front-facing speakers are also clearly visible, flanking the sides of the screen, plus a front-facing camera. With just under a week left until the expected July 22nd announcement. When is that? So that's this coming Wednesday. We don't have long to wait until we hear more. So it's weird because I would buy a gaming phone, I think, because one, for the specs. I would buy one purely based on the specs, just because I know it's going to be high-end everything. You're going to add cooling to it. I would be for that. I do like the RGB. I like the lighting, as cheesy as that may sound. I don't mind it at all. I think that would be a cool feature. The only thing with a gaming phone for me is I probably wouldn't play games on it, which completely, I guess, makes that point moot. But I only say that because I think what I would do is, if I was able to hook up a wireless controller easily to it, and I knew there were games that were actually worth playing, then I would give it a shot. But I don't, I'm sure there are accessories right now that you can play on the phone with maybe Bluetooth, but I wonder how lag is on it if it's not wired up. I mean, I have an Xbox controller that I use to game on my PC, but I still wire that up just to make sure I have zero lag whatsoever. When you play games that are very time sensitive, or whatever you want to call it, kind of makes a difference. So I don't even know what this phone is supposed to be priced at. I'm sure it's going to be super expensive, and I'm sure it's also going to be high-end everything. I'm surprised there is no talks about the specs on this Asus ROG Phone 3. But let me see here in chat. So hold on, before I get into the other kind of chat in here, Krishna says no IP68 rating for ROG 3. You know why? And yeah, I'm assuming it might be because of the vent. But if there is no cooling or venting or whatever, then it might be IP68 rated. I know the other phone we're going to talk about in a second, the Lenovo, the Legion gaming phone Pro Plus Max Extra, whatever. I don't know if, I think that has a vent, and I think that one isn't going to be IP68. Paul is saying, yeah, it is a LED strip. Oh, okay, well, cool, good to know. T Varai says, I'd love to get a gaming phone, but to be honest, my Pixel 3a can run all the games I need, though the 3000 milliamp hour battery does hamper the experience a bit. I mean, that's good to know. I wonder, do you play more extensive performance gaming, like gaming games? Because I don't even know. I know people play PUBG on mobile. Can you play Fortnite on mobile? You can't. Can you? Is that a thing now? I would imagine people who play PUBG on mobile, I'm sure they would love to play on a controller, and I don't know if they do. Levin says, these gaming phones have been looking interesting. I just don't game like that much. And I don't either. and that's why I'm like, would I own one just to own a phone? Not to own a gaming phone, but to own a phone that has very high end specs, that's very performance like focused, and just to have one for the pure like performance aspect of having a phone. Paul says, "What? No underwater gaming? Unfortunately, not. I don't think so." Y says, "Do I have a story about the Dimensity 400? I do not. Actually, I forgot about a chat up above. Krishna, Teha. Oh wait, no, Krishna. I already read yours, but Krishna, I forgot to say hi." Krishna, welcome to the stream. Nice to have you. Sean is what I was trying to get at. Is the second apartment better than the first one that you got rejected? So the second apartment is nicer. It's actually more modern and it's bigger. And in terms of the insides of the apartment, the bones of the apartment, it is actually better. The only con is the area. So the area isn't bad. It's right by the L, which is like public transit, but no one's taking public right now, or at least I'm not. But like the area isn't where I wanted to be ideally. I could have found a place in that same area, but like apartments are really small around there. Like $900 will get you about 300 square feet. That's the best you're going to do. And that's on the cheap end. That's why I was gunning for that one apartment, because it was it was $905 and it was 300 square feet. And it was big enough for me, but this new place, or this other place I applied for, is 375 square feet, and that was $900 even. So it just, again, the area is not the best. But anyway, I don't mean to switch stories on you guys there, but I wanted to at least read through that. So why, as far as the Dimensity 400, no. The Snapdragon 735G, no. Yesterday, I talked about the Snapdragon 720. There was a phone that was going to have the 720. I hate that this camera is like completely, guys, hold on a second as I try to adjust. Sorry, let me figure, wrong way. There we go. Okay. I'm better centered. Yeah, I don't even remember talking about a 735G. When did that come out? Has that been around for a while? Like, I didn't even know the 720 was a thing. I'm sure they have been, and maybe they have been for a while, and they're older, so people aren't talking about them anymore. Krishna is saying the Lenovo Legion has a side pop-up camera. Yeah, they do, and they say the reasoning for that side pop-up camera is to do live streaming, which I can understand, especially if you're playing in landscape mode, right? Or that's how you would be playing games, and that's probably why they have a side pop-up camera. But we'll talk about it. Why is saying Pixel 3a supports Fortnite? All right. Krishna says yes, you can play Fortnite in mobiles now. Let me see here. Team Verizon says Battle Crashers Night War is pretty heavy on mobile hardware. It's an offline RPG, though it was originally released on consoles and PC. Well, there you go. Pretty, and so like that's good to know that a Pixel 3a can handle it, if that's something that is, like you're saying, pretty heavy on mobile hardware. I wonder. You are mad. Who's mad? Badass gamer, baddest gamer. Okay. Welcome to the stream. I'm like looking at this and I'm looking at your avatar and I'm just like, okay. Anyway, Team Varai, I was gonna say, on your channel, do you talk a lot about gaming? I feel like for someone that's such a heavy into gaming, I would imagine that why is my Apple Watch is telling me I'm riding my bike right now and I'm not at all. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, yeah, Team Varai, I was actually wondering if you talk about gaming much on your channel. I'd imagine you do. You know, it's something that you're interested in. So I feel like that's a topic you cover on your channel. Okay, so yeah, Y is saying all of the Pixel series, if I'm correct, supports Fortnite. And then Y 2019 is also saying iPhone 6s through 11 also support. So yes, phones do support it. I gotcha. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's talk about Lenovo. So this Lenovo phone, this article from Gizmodo says Lenovo's funky gaming phone with a side-mounted pop-up camera appears to be real. I mean, I thought it was real already. My phone is ringing. I don't know why everything's happening right now. Anyway, sorry about that. So for Lenovo, when they announced this Legion phone, or at least they started talking about it weeks ago already, I I didn't think that it was not real. I'd imagine that this was something that was already in the works, but so this article from Gizmodo is saying it appears to be real. So a couple months ago, rumors started to swirl about an upcoming Lenovo gaming phone with a funky side-mounted pop-up cam, and you'll see that camera right here. So it's meant to be used in landscape mode. And now, based on a listing on JD.com, it seems those rumors were true. In the listing first noticed by 91 Mobiles, the Lenovo Legion Gaming Phone Pro looks to feature some serious hardware, and I'm assuming this hardware is the same hardware that you're going to be finding. God, I cannot stand. I don't know if Gizmodo or whoever is like having all these video. I just need to start blocking it because it's very annoying. Actually, I wonder if I can just make this. There we go. Make the screen bigger there. So I'm assuming most of the hardware that's going to be on this Lenovo Legion Gaming Phone Pro, that's such a long name for a phone, is probably going to have the same specs as the Asus ROG Phone 3, or at least very similar to it. So a Snapdragon 865 Plus processor. Well, actually, I don't know if the ROG phone is going to have the 865 Plus. That's right. Qualcomm said that the Snapdragon 865 Plus was going to be the first phone, or the Asus ROG, or the Asus, no. Yeah, the Asus ROG Phone 3 was going to have the 865 Plus. That's what they said. So yeah, they're going to have the same one, I think, which offers boosted clock speed said to deliver 10% faster performance than a standard Snap 865 chip. Lenovo's gaming phone also looks to include a 6.7-inch 144 hertz OLED display. So super high refresh rate. That would give it one of the fastest refresh rates of any phone on the market, along with at least 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. I'd imagine there's going to be more RAM than 6 in here. Elsewhere, the Legion phone is also expected to come with a 64 megapixel rear cam with a secondary 16 megapixel wide angle cam, an in-display fingerprint sensor, front firing stereo speakers, which I have another article about that I want to talk about, and a dual linear motors. That should deliver some serious haptic feedback. That's cool. I think the one feature that I feel most phones don't really pay much attention to, or at least don't spend the money on, is haptic feedback. And that would be great to see an Android phone having like high quality haptic feedback. That's something I guess I can't say I complain about, but the iPhone, my iPhone and past iPhones have had such good haptic feedback, and I would love to see an Android phone just kind of up their game in that department. And while it's hard to tell just from the photos, the Legion phone also appears to have touch-sensitive triggers along the edge of the phone, which should come in handy for mobile shooters like Fortnite, COD Mobile, etc. But the Legion Gaming Phone Pro's real standout feature is its 20 megapixel pop-up camera, which extends out from the side of the phone instead of the top, like we've seen on handsets like the OnePlus 7 Pro and others. I mean, I love that it's a pop-up. It's also very different that it pops up from the side, right? From here or whatever side it pops up from. So not only does that pop-up cam have a built-in flash to keep your face illuminated while gaming, but the position of the camera is also perfectly situated so that you can stream your reactions while gaming without the camera being in the way or potentially being blocked by your grip. Also, because the camera is centered when you hold the phone in landscape mode, as you would probably do while gaming, gamers won't have to suffer from awkward camera angles like you would get on laptops that place their webcam below the screen. That's also a really good point. While the Legion phone's pop-up cam might throw some people for a loop, I would actually love to see phone makers and even add even more out there design quirks like this to gaming phones. Like, obviously, this is geared towards gamers, right? This phone is geared towards people who, I'm guessing, would want to live stream and have that pop-up cam pop up while they're gaming, showing their screen, however it works. as far as streaming on gaming phones, because that's a completely different world that is now becoming a reality, or will be, or has been in some kind of like, shape or form. On this side of the Atlantic, the market hasn't really embraced gaming phones as people have over in Asia. Heck, Razer abandoned its gaming phone line just after 2 generations, while many other gaming phone makers don't bother to market or even sell their devices over here. To me, it seems like part of the problem for gaming phones is that so many previous attempts didn't try hard enough to include gaming specific features, which meant a lot of people didn't see a good reason to switch away from mainstream flagship devices. And I think a lot of people feel this right now, or are in the same boat. I still don't think a lot of people are clamoring for gaming phones because they just don't see the reason. Or like Team Rai was saying earlier, well, my Pixel 3a can still play most of the games I want to play on it, so what do I need to spend money for on a gaming phone? But I guess here's something that will help people maybe consider getting a gaming phone, is this pop-up camera. Features like a pop-up cam meant to help people live stream mobile games and other things like built-in fans, touch-sensitive triggers, and way more RGB lighting. It feels like gaming phones are starting to truly separate themselves from standard phone fare. And if Sony wasn't so focused on delivering the PS5 later this fall, I would almost say now would be the perfect time to reboot the old Xperia Play. I remember people talking about that. I don't know too much about it, which when you look back now was truly a phone ahead of its time. Imagine a device that could play all your standard mobile games, but also had a built-in controller for streaming games from your home console, which is, yeah, that's pretty awesome. PlayStation Now or Stadia or even xCloud. Something like that might finally capitalize on the dream of being able to play your favorite games no matter where you are, regardless of platform. I think that's coming. It's just a matter of time. Either way, with Lenovo poised to release its funky gaming phone soon and leaks suggesting Asus will announce the ROG Phone 3 next week, it looks like there's about to be 2 new big and powerful gaming phones available soon. So I want to just kind of continue on, because this article from GSM Arena is talking about speakers on a phone, saying the Lenovo Legion will have the most powerful speakers put on a phone. If there's one thing that I loved about phones back when they were really starting to, gain some ground, like on my Nexus 6P, was the fact that the external speakers were excellent. Like, they focused on having front firing, stereo speakers. And I love that. And I would love to have, I feel like phones most of the day, or I feel like phones today, a lot of phones have pretty decent front firing, or well, a lot of them just have one front firing speaker, but they're mostly, bottom firing speakers. That the main one is a bottom firing speaker. And I think they're good, but I would love for a company to focus on, like true front facing stereo speakers. I like having that immersive experience. I also like the fact of just having really loud speakers that I can use. Like, for example, if I want to play music wherever I'm at, and just like prop it up and then have it play, because the speakers are that good that I don't need to bring an extra device. I don't need to bring like, Bluetooth speakers or whatever, like a portable one, which they're not bad, but imagine not having to carry that and just having your phone. That's kind of an all-in-one solution. So I don't know. I haven't read this. I don't know how good they're supposed to be, but apparently they're supposed to be, oh, comments. This is not I thought this was an article. This is me rushing. That's what happens. Well, it says a new teaser. Where's the teaser? See the GSM Arena XR review. Higher maximum volume does not equal sound. I completely missed it then. Anyway, that's just my thought on the speakers then. Let's just leave it at that. I just thought I would chime in on that, but where? I don't know. So yeah, I can't promise how good the speakers are if I thought that's what the article is about. My bad. All right, so let me go back into chat here. let me see what else I missed. So Y says, we'll send you a story of the chips. Put the video, Jerome. I needed to know why everybody hates Mark. What? What are we talking about? Why? Thank you for sending me the article. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to those today. I'm not really. I have a couple other stories here. If I have time, I'll take a look at it, but it's not on the priority at the moment. So Team Verizon says, haven't seen a landscape gaming phone since the N-Gage. Oh my God, I remember that phone. Holy cow. Wow. That brings back memories and Xperia Play. Yeah, so it's nice. I'm glad that a company is creating something different instead of your basic having the phone, in portrait mode all the time. Like they're actually trying to cater to an audience that wants to game on their phone, and rightfully so. I'm sure there's a small niche of people that want to have a gaming phone, that want to focus on that, and maybe they want a solution where it's like, I think what this phone is it's a gaming phone first, and then it's a phone second, right? It's something that people, they don't want to buy a Switch. They might not even want a console. They have a phone already that they game on most of the time, and they want to have the gaming experience be the priority, and then all the other stuff that comes with it, using it as a phone, using it to text, checking apps or whatever, comes second. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great niche to fill. Magnus S, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Super hyped to see the ROG phone. Cool seeing a big company going all in. Exactly. I think that also goes to show, like Razer, right? Razer had their own gaming phone. They made 2 versions of it, and then they just stopped it altogether. And I don't know why. I feel like if they kept improving on it, I don't know. I'd like to see other companies do something different. So then it's not the same kind of phone over and over and over again. So Paul says, sorry for the ignorance, but what company again? What are we talking about? Which company? I'm obviously talking about multiple things here, so I don't know. Were you talking about the Asus ROG phone or Lenovo's Legion? Anyway, so Magnus is saying I'm Lonky Games. Hey, Lonky Games, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. I know there's always different names. I can't always keep up. But welcome to the stream. Levin says HTC was the first to have front speakers. They could capitalize on that. Yeah. I miss front firing stereo speakers for sure. So let me see here. Yeah, and Team Verizon was saying too bad Razer dropped out. I agree. I don't know why they did. I wonder what the reasoning was for that. Brian is in here. What up, everyone? Fashionably late. Brian, you're good. And the $2 super chat. Brian, thank you so much, man. Guys, thank you so much for all the super chats today. Really, I appreciate that. You guys are so generous. TGIF, TNT Joe Fi Fun. Brian, thank you so much, man. Thank you for that continued support, as always. So Big House is also saying, speaking of Lenovo, Motorola has the Moto G 5G Plus coming to challenge the OnePlus Nord and Pixel 4a. Yeah, I did talk about the Moto G 5G Plus. God, what a long name. 6.7-inch 1080p LCD, 90 hertz refresh rate, quad camera, Snapdragon 675, 128 gigs of internal storage, and 6 gigs of RAM, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and I think it comes in at a really decent price. I think the only caveat on this phone is it's not coming to the US. Although I think someone had commented on one of my videos and was like, it's going to come on Amazon anyway. You're going to be able to get it. Hopefully that's the case. I think this is going to be a good phone at a great price if it comes in at a decent price, which I'm assuming it is. Yeah, and like Y is saying here, it sounds like a great value phone. It definitely does, especially considering other phones at the same price point that's coming with a 765 chipset. I think that's going to be a really good contender for a phone. So let's go ahead and continue on, and actually let's stick with the phone segment here, because I don't know, I just feel like talking about phones. This article from Android Central is talking about the Pixel, saying some Pixel 4 XL owners are reporting spontaneously swelling batteries. This is not good. This is not, sorry, I'm clearing stuff on my Apple Watch. This is not promising at all. Battery issues sunk Samsung's Galaxy Note 7 in 2016. I mean, I don't I don't know if the Pixel 4 is already kind of sunken away, but this is the first I'm hearing about battery issues on the, well, not those kind of battery issues. We all know the battery issues on the Pixel 4. Yeah, I guess to an extent the Pixel 4 XL, but this swelling battery thing is new. I haven't seen this. So what you need to know, the Pixel 4 XL users have reported spontaneous peeling of the rear panel. The problem has been attributed to a swelling of the rear battery that causes it to bulge and weaken the glue that holds the panel to the rest of the phone. Oh my God, that's awful. Reports on social media claim this is a known issue of the Pixel 4 XL. Okay, so maybe just the XL, but XL or not XL, this is not good. We've reached out to Google for clarity. Some Pixel 4 XL owners have reported issues. Look at that. Look at that. Do you see that flexing right there? Right here. With the rear glass of the phone, they have cited peeling and weakening, causing the back of the phone to start coming off for no apparent reason. While it was originally highlighted by Android Authority, the folks over at 9 to 5 Google have a Pixel 4 XL unit that suffers from the same. Of all the ones that are going to get that unit, a tech-based one has one there. But look at that flex. That is not pretty at all. That suffers from the same issue as well. According to a Redditor claiming to work as a general manager for uBreak iFix, the issue here stems primarily from the battery swelling. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. This is caused by battery failure due to faulty connectors that leads to battery swelling. It is a major issue with the 4XL series, and I don't understand why Google is not supporting it properly. It's weird because when people complain about the Pixel 4, or at least I can't recommend the Pixel 4 at an $800 price point because I think it's too expensive at that price point. And I'm like, if you want a phone with a better battery, then at this point, I'm like, if you can find the Pixel 4 XL at a decent price, then that's maybe the phone that you want to take a look at. But now I see this, and now how can I recommend a Pixel 4 XL if this is an issue that Google is not supporting properly? How can I recommend the Pixel now at all? Oh my God. It just sounds like a nightmare. The battery connectors on many 4XL phones are brittle and break apart with even normal use. I've gotten multiple on-the-job trainings about it, which also say I should never tell customers that it is a, quote, known issue. Swelling batteries in smartphones are a hazard, one that could lead to fires if left unattended for too long. If this is due to a design flaw with the Pixel 4 XL line in general, it would not be a good look for Google. We've reached out to Google to see if this report is broadly accurate, and we'll update the story when we know more. What can I say? I can't say anything. This is just awful. This is awful news for the Pixel 4 line. The Pixel 4 in general, just because it doesn't have a great battery, amongst other issues, but the Pixel 4 XL, because it has a swelling battery that could be dangerous. How can I recommend this phone at all to anyone at this point if this is an actual issue? If Google's not saying anything, then I don't know, maybe that's something else. But if they're hiding the fact that it has a battery issue, that's a shame. Oh my God, I don't know. Okay. So Team Verizon says, wow, the Pixel 4 cannot catch a break. Why 2019 says, even 9 months later, the Pixel curse is still present on the 4. Paul says, is that your Pixel 4 XL in your pocket? By Big House, yeah, none of this is good news at all. Why 2019 says, I guess the 5 should get a 1,000 milliamp hour battery, and the XL should get a 2,000 milliamp hour battery, so there are less problems at this point. I don't even know what to say. Kind of like at a loss for words at how oh man, I don't know. Maybe it's a very small percentage. I mean, even if it's a small percentage, it's still not acceptable. Levin says, that's odd. My Pixel 4 XL doesn't even get hot, and battery life has been good for me. So I'm glad, right? There's at least another side to this. And maybe that percentage is very, very, very small. But it's something to be, I guess, weary about, something to keep an eye on, right? So like if anything, Levin, just like keep an eye on it, because like, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, this is not an issue. This is a very small, like minor issue for some people, but it's just scary to see that something like that might be happening. Ishmael's in here. Ishmael Harden was thinking of getting one at 500, but never mind. I mean, it's hard for me to now kind of recommend it if this is something that might be a thing. I don't know. I guess what I would like is to have Google say something about it and say, hey, yeah, this is maybe an issue for a small percentage during a manufacturing date of month, you know, whatever, and year of whatever. And it's just a very small percentage. So if you're worried, just don't get the ones that are, I don't know. I'm like trying to defend Google, and maybe I'm not even doing that. Team Verizon says, glad I got the 3A, the safe bet in my opinion. So, okay. Anyway, there you go. Story about the battery for the Pixel 4 XL. If I end up clipping this and other people have had this issue on their 4XL, please share it. Even if you haven't, like Levin hasn't had issues with that, which is great. So please let me know if you've had issues with that or not. I know when I first saw this article, I looked at the back of my Pixel 4 just to see if it had anything like that, and it doesn't, so it's fine. So anyway, thank you for sharing your experience though on that, Levin. Also, anyone else, if you've had anything, please let me know. I'm just curious. So, all right, moving on. Big House says, sounds like someone gaming with the charger plugged in too long. You never know. Okay. This other article I have was actually something that was shared to me from Brian. And this actually was brought up when I streamed on that on the other channel that I was starting another stream on. I just don't have time lately. But someone a couple weeks ago asked me about the Pine phone. Anybody in here? Are any of you familiar with what the Pine phone is? Anybody? Is it on your radar at all? So the Pine phone is a Linux phone. It's a cheap Linux phone. And it's something that was not on my radar at all until someone actually brought that up. Someone asked me, it was like, Jerome, do you know anything about the Linux phone? And I'm like, I've heard of Pine, but I don't know anything about it. And I think it might be something that I would be interested to kind of mess around with. Not as a primary phone, because I know it's a phone that isn't really like supported well, not supported. Like, I think there's support for it, obviously, but it's something that is, I think, perpetually beta. It will always be in a beta state, and it will probably get better over time, but I don't. Well, let's talk about it here. So this is the Pine phone. Actually, let me share it. Let me share the main page with you here. So it's an open source smartphone supported by all major Linux phone projects. Perhaps you're in a line of work where security is a must, or a hardcore Linux enthusiast. So I have dabbled with Linux. I've used Linux a good amount of time when I worked in IT, especially for all of our server stuff, for a lot of our just more mainstream, like industrial work, like industrial computers or things that are running specific things, like assembly line stuff. A lot of them were just Linux based. But anyway, it says here, or perhaps you've just got enough of Android and iOS and you're ready for something else. And that's what I liked about that's what I liked about this, is the fact that Brian saying Linux based. There you go. Thank you. Is the fact that it's another option. This is for people who might want something different. And I'm not saying this is something that you're going to be using reliably, because I know almost for a fact this is not something that can be I am pretty sure it's not a daily driver, especially based on just my past with using Linux. Not that you can't use and like PCs and stuff are a different story, but I think this phone, I just don't know if it's a daily driver at this point. So it says here, the Pine phone may be the next phone for you, powered by the same quad core ARM Cortex A53 64-bit SoC used in our popular Pine A64 single-board computer. The Pine phone runs mainline Linux as well as anything else you'll get it to run. The purpose of the Pine phone isn't only to deliver a functioning Linux phone to end users, but also to actively create a market for such a device, as well as to support existing and well-established Linux on-phone projects. All major Linux phone-oriented projects, as well as other FOSS OS, are represented on the Pine phone, and developers work together on our platform to bring support to this community-driven device. So this phone, I believe, is $150. So it's, let me see, go to store. I think, yeah, so you can get the community edition for $149, and then there is this convergence package, which we're going to talk about today. But for $149, I don't think it's a bad phone to mess around with. Again, don't buy it as your main phone because that's not what it's for. But you can see the specs are nothing spectacular. So, right, a 64-bit quad-core SoC, 2 gigs of LPDDR3 RAM, so pretty low end there. 5.95-inch LCD, bootable micro SD, 16 gigs of, that's internal storage, right? 16 gigs of eMMC. And then, USB Type C, has a couple bands on it, worldwide bands, it's saying, and then just a couple other things. Look, it has a status LED, RGB, has an RGB indicator, LED notification light or whatever. It's been a while since I've seen anything like that. So yeah, just a couple things. Headphone jack, blah blah blah. 3,000 milliamp hour battery. Oh, that's a thing too. It has a 3,000 milliamp hour battery that's removable. And I think in the article it says you can buy a replaceable battery for $10. So what they did is they released this convergence pack for $200, which comes with the phone and a couple other items here. And how it works is the folks behind the $149 Pine phone Linux smartphone have introduced a new version that's designed to work not only as a mobile Linux device, but also as a portable desktop computer. So this $200 bundle includes a version of the smartphone with souped up specs, plus a USB-C docking station that makes it easy to connect a display, keyboard, mouse, and even Ethernet. So starting today, which was, I think, the other day, you can place an order for the limited edition Pine phone Community Edition post-market OS with convergence package bundle for $200, or you can just order the phone itself for $150, but you'll get a slightly less capable device for that price. Oh, so they upgraded it then. If you get the $200 one, I'm not exactly sure what they added on to it. So it says here, oh, there you go. So the convergence package model has 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of eMMC, up from the usual 2 and 16. So I was looking, is this, yeah. So this video, just to check it out, shows him connecting the dock, and it's not just like a straightforward plug and play. It looks like there's a little bit more to it. I mean, I guess you're connecting the keyboard and mouse or whatever, but then, what's nice about it then is you're able to take what's on, let me make this bigger. You'll be able to take what's on the phone here and then push it to a display, which is great. And then something to tinker around with and use Linux on. And yeah, I mean, you can see browsing through. I don't know, for $150, it's not bad at all. Something I'd have to take a look at. I probably have to do a little research and see what else it's about and what it has, and what's available on it and what you could do on it. So maybe after I do that, I'll see. Wouldn't be bad to test out. So okay. Let me continue on here. Just let me check chat real quick. Wise says Pixel 3 XL, best looking phone ever. Pixel 4, best battery capacity. Pixel 4 XL, best. Oh, why? Pixel 4 XL, best Note 7 battery. There you go. Well said. Well said. All right. You know what? Let me swap back in here. And this other article I have is actually talking about Snapdragon Wear 4100. It's talking about this new chipset, or this newer announced chipset from Qualcomm for wearables, for kind of Wear OS for watches and whatever. But it says here Snapdragon Wear 4100 can't fix all of the problems with Wear OS smartwatches. A new chipset will help in some areas, but the rest of the software has to catch up too. And I think that's probably well said at this point. As someone who wears a smartwatch every day, I'm excited for the new Snapdragon Wear 4100 Plus platform that Qualcomm just released. This is the chipset Wear OS watches will be running throughout 2021, and it promises considerable upgrades in performance and battery life over the old chipset. So that's great. Better battery life, better performance on your smartwatch. It's well known that Wear OS watches struggle mightily in both areas, whether you spend 150 or 500 bucks, and I consider it unacceptable. Wear OS watches need this new platform badly in order to have a shot at being competitive. That much is clear. Like, I read this, when I read 150 bucks, I think I had a stream last week where Amazon had dropped the Series 3 Apple Watch, like that I'm wearing now, but the smaller face version, the 38 millimeter one. And I think that was selling for 100, and if I remember correctly, 169. It was either 170 bucks or 180 bucks. It was super cheap. It was the lowest it's ever gotten. I think it was 160, like 159 or 160. I don't know. It was cheap. And it makes me think, why would I buy a $150 Wear OS device that might not even, well, I don't know. I guess I've never had one, so it's hard for me to just say that without really testing it out. But this article kind of says, like, yeah, they might not be mature enough yet in terms of what other competition is out there, which is really an Apple Watch, maybe a Galaxy Watch. So Wear OS watches need this new platform badly in order to have a shot at being competitive. That much is clear. But to think that simply upgrading from the Wear 3100 to the Wear 4100 Plus will suddenly fix all of the problems with Wear OS watches is misguided, because you're still getting Wear OS, and that means a long list of shortcomings. Let's say that the Wear 4100 is a big enough upgrade to warrant giving new Wear OS smartwatches a fresh look. Well, then you will once again realize there are still several ways that Wear OS needs to improve. I'll point out the biggest ones here. And because I don't own one, I would love to know where those gaps lie. Performance is weak all around. This is surely something that will be helped by the 4100 Plus, but it's unclear how much it'll help. Wear OS performance is downright horrible at times. That's not promising. Apps load slowly. Assistant is nearly unusable. Apps regularly hang or crash, and touch response is often slow enough that you end up making double selections or closing apps unexpectedly. Most frustrating, perhaps, is that performance isn't at all consistent, and the watch regularly slows down for seemingly no reason. The setup process is terrible. For something that's supposed to be a simple accessory to your smartphone, this experience is a pain. The setup process is inconsistent, sometimes requiring multiple attempts to pair. The watch is unusable for at least an hour while it does something in the background after pairing. None of this sounds convincing at all for me to even try to buy one. Apps on previous watches or your phone aren't automatically installed, leading you to a sluggish and frustrating Play Store to do it manually. And every time you swap the watch to a new phone, you have to perform a factory reset and start all over again. I mean, this last part, I don't know. It's kind of like, well, you got to pick one phone to work with your watch. Most people with an iPhone, they don't own. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know what the process. Actually, no. Maybe I take that back, because when I get my new iPhone and I move it over with my Apple Watch, is it simple? I've never had, this is my first stint at an Apple Watch, and I wonder how the process is when I get a new iPhone. Does it just completely move over and then I don't have to do anything? It just works as usual, which would be great. So I guess maybe to hear that here, where you have to like factory reset and do all that kind of stuff, then I don't know. It doesn't sound the best either. Third-party apps are bad. in the classic chicken and the egg problem, third-party Wear OS apps are bad if they exist at all. I'm not someone who needs to have a watch loaded with apps, but it's not unreasonable to expect the big names to have a presence on Wear OS. Many of the apps are simple companions to the full app on your phone and get the job done, but all do so with such a wide variety of quality and interface designs. It's just disheartening. I always have a good laugh at the Strava app, quote app, and for some reason, Google hasn't forced apps to support the rotating side button, so you're left switching between rotating and swiping depending on the app. So, okay, I'm not going to read through all of this. The watch face experience needs an overhaul. The Wear OS companion app needs to do more. Google's hands-off approach to Android development, where it creates a relatively basic operating system and lets companies make their own customizations from there, hasn't worked out in the world of Wear OS in the way it has on smartphones. Sure, there's incredible diversity in terms of hardware designs with hundreds of different watch styles, blah, 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 but the software customization has felt woefully lacking. Google is expected to announce changes to Wear OS and Android on other non-phone devices the week of August 9. As part of its 11 weeks of Android series leading up to the launch of Android 11. Is that where they're going to be talking about the Pixel 4a? We can only hope that it has real substantial improvements in store for the platform to coincide with the move to Snapdragon Wear 4100 Plus. Those of us who have been stuck with Wear OS, seeing the potential in the platform despite being continuously disappointed, really deserve better. I think that's where a lot of people want to start talking about the Pixel Watch and hoping a Pixel Watch comes out and it becomes a thing so that I guess all of these other watches that maybe aren't the best, maybe the Pixel Watch will fix that. When will the Pixel Watch be a thing? I think maybe the more important question is figuring out first when the Pixel 4a is going to come out. So to kind of wrap things up here, the one thing I wanted to close this out with is we talked about video game phones or gaming phones at the beginning. We'll close it out at the end, talking about how in the US, video game spending hit a 10-year high in June. I mean, I think a lot of this has to do with the pandemic, but maybe it's just growing in general. Without it, with the pandemic or not, maybe the pandemic just helped accelerate where video gaming is right now. Video game spending in the US reached its highest point since 2010, with sales through June reaching $6.6 billion on hardware, software, and accessories. It's the highest total for the 6 months of the year since spending hit $7 billion a decade ago. Spending has been dramatically higher in 2020 than it was compared to last year, with sales through June up 19% year over year, and June sales specifically were up 26% compared to the same month in 2019. So it's hard not to draw the conclusion that a major contributing factor was the spike in video game playing caused by millions of people having a sudden boost in free time thanks to COVID-19 shutdowns. So you'll see here year over year spending in terms of, I'm guessing, just the video game industry. Yeah, video game hardware, software, accessories, and game cards totaled $1.2 billion, gaining 26% when compared to a year ago. It's not the first record 2020 has set for video game sales either. US spending hit an all-time quarterly record earlier this year, and with new consoles on the way in the fall from both Microsoft and Sony in the form of the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 to boost hardware sales, 2020's record-setting run may be far from over. I mean, that's I feel like there's a big credit to that, obviously, with everything going on right now. I haven't really spent much money on games lately, but I have in the past. And I feel like with people just being stuck at home, this is just the thing that's, it just happens. You're at home, people are going to be spending money on streaming. They're probably going to be spending money on video games as well. And they're going to be spending money on super chats that Ruben just sent. Ruben, what's going on? Ruben with the $7 super chat. Ruben, thank you so much, man. I'm rocking Falster 3 and it needs work. Yes, but it's not that bad like the article states. Well, thank you for sharing your feedback. I read that article and I was kind of like, man, it just makes me not want to get a Wear OS device if it's going to be that bad. But thank you for sharing that. I'm looking forward to a new chip. So the Falster 3, what is that? Who makes? I feel like I've Googled this before. Oh, it's Skagen. Is that it? $300. Wow. It looks nice though. It does look like a nice watch. I'm trying to see here. It has good reviews on it too. I mean, I guess it is from Skagen's website directly, so that might have a slight bias to it, but it looks nice. And Google Pay and everything like that. So because I do have a Fossil watch that my cousin gave me when I was in California, and just to test it out, and I haven't even had a chance to test it out. So that might be something I would have to look into and see how good that actually works. It looks nice though. It is a nice looking watch for sure. But Ruben, man, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being in here. Thank you for the support. I appreciate that. Ruben says the Fossil Skagen Falster 3. I copped it on sale on Amazon. Well, thanks for sharing that. Thank you so much. Can you read the story that I said? I told you earlier why I'm not going to be able to go through that today. And actually, we just hit the hour. So with that being said, that is going to be it for today's show. I didn't even get a chance to do my little marketing thing, but really quick for everybody in here, I know I'm on my way out, but if you get a chance on your way out as well, please, if you get a chance, hit that like button. I know that sounds like cheesy marketing and it's not something I typically do, but it helps out with the stream. I think it helps out with the channel. And if anything, it's just a way to support. So please, guys, I do appreciate that if you can. At the same time, if you are new, if you don't know, I stream weekdays, Mondays through Fridays, every weekday at 2 p.m. Central. So if you get a chance, please feel free to subscribe, be a part of this whole community. Come on the show, come say hi, engage in chat, all that kind of stuff. And then with that being said, also for anyone that's in chat, if you've noticed people with a green in their name, if you notice people with a red Chicago star next to their name, that's because they are sorry, I'm trying to get that up, of the Phone Jerome fam, and you can be one too for as little as 99 cents a month. All you got to do is click that blue join button. You'll get the red Chicago star, you'll get to use custom emoji, and you'll get your name on every single one of my intros, or you'll get your name on every single one of the intros and outros of my live streams. Again, for as little as 99 cents a month, you just click that blue join button. Wow, I'm really winding down right now. And if you can't find that, you can go to youtube.com/Phone Jerome/join. And that's it as far as the marketing thing there. With that being said, oh God, I'm really off right now. That's not the screen. You guys aren't supposed to be seeing that. That's hopefully this weekend I figure out what's happening with my apartment, so then I can figure out what I have to do as far as moving and packing my stuff up and going. But I do want to thank everyone again today for joining me. Tonight is Friday Night Tech Talk. I don't know if I'm going to be on it tonight. It just depends on my workload. But please, if you get a chance, feel free to check out the guys on Friday Night Tech Talk. They're a bunch of great guys. If I'm there, I'll, obviously you'll see me. If not, it's still a good conversation. So feel free to check them out. I don't know whose channel it's going to be on tonight. It might be Will's. It might be Ted's, it might be Mike's, and it might be George's. I don't know. So feel free to check them out though. Oh, sorry. I meant to take this off of here. Sorry about that. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much again for joining. I will be back on Monday, 2 p.m. Central Monday. Central, right? Did I say, wow, I'm really off right now. I will be back Monday, 2 p.m. Central. We'll have more to talk about. Maybe we'll figure out what's happening with the Pixel 4a. Most likely not, because Google just doesn't care about any of that right now. But with that being said, I am closing it out. Guys, have a great weekend. I will see you Monday or maybe I'll see you tonight on Friday Night Tech Talk. It depends if I'm there or not. If not, this cheesy wave goodbye is just my whatever. Bye, guys. I'm done for the day. Take it easy.